everyone. Welcome to today's program. We want to just spend about a minute or two to give some few people a chance to join. Then we can zoom in quickly. So, um, a minute or two we'll be starting. So get your tools ready, and we'll go right into it in the next minute or two. Yeah, thanks for the patience.
All right. Thanks, Veep, Desmond, for taking us through our initial modalities. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone who has taken time out of their busy schedules to be here and to take part in this skill-based seminar organized by GRASAG USA. And just before we go straight into our activity for today, we'd like to do a quick icebreaker and to just read the room and see how people are engaging with GRASAG and all. So if this is the first time you are taking part in any GRASAG activity, I would like you to go into the chat box and then put 1. And if you've never attended any GRASAG event, you can also put 0. So by way of knowing how students are engaging with GRASAG and taking part in event, we just want to see how students are engaging with us. So if you've ever attended any GRASAG event, GRASAG USA event, put 1 in the chat. And then if you've never done so, you can give us a 0 in the chat. Okay, I see a couple of 1s and some 0. That's great. Keep it coming. That's great. Now, let's move on to do a second thing. And there's a new feature in Zoom that we'd like to see how that will appear in our visuals. So if you've ever followed any news in Ghana this week, you can also put a thumbs up, go to the reaction session, and then put a thumbs up, whether you followed any news back home. I mean, it's quite obvious, but I just want to see if people are still engaging with news back home and all. So give us a thumbs up if you followed any news from back home throughout this week, or you're just focusing on your research and your studies and all. Great. Does it mean those of us who are not putting the thumbs up, you're not following news back home? That's great. Now, before taking this time, I'd like to hand over to our Vice President to give us a welcome address before we zoom in. Thank you very much. My name is Eric. Nice to have you here.
All right, nice, Eric. Thank you very much for the icebreaker session. Yeah, so hi everyone. So I'm Desmond Mensah, as I mentioned, the Vice President for Scholarcy USA. I'm delighted to welcome you all to today's webinar with the theme Tools for Effective Literature Review and Referencing. And today is going to be more like a practical session. And you know, in the world of academia, we in the process of conducting cutting edge research and is very important, you know, and literature reviews and how to master referencing techniques are like, let me say, a key fundamental part to assessors as graduate students, you know. So it's not just about gathering the information, so it's about trying to turn this information to something useful and valuable information out there so that people could actually learn of what you have gone through. So it's very important that we go through today's session. And we have a very knowledgeable speaker, Juliet, here on board. And I'm optimistic she's an expert in this field. And she's going to take us through this particular session today. So it's an opportunity to learn. It's to change ideas. We are here to connect. We are here to, if you are a new person here, it's a very wonderful tool. If you are a first year graduate student, an opportunity for you to learn these kind of tools and means to be able to go through this wonderful research experience, you know. And if you're already a seasoned researcher, maybe this can be an opportunity to either learn some few stuff, also give your input to what we are going to have today. There's going to be an hour session today, and I believe that when you all come together and we kind of sit tight and have our pens ready, we have our tools ready, we are going to have a cruising moment with our dear speaker today. So I think without much ado, I just want to give the platform back to Eric and Mami to take charge from here. Yeah, thank you very much, Eric. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Vice President. Just before we go on, I see our president in our midst, Mr. Pakwesi Sam. If you can just give us a wave so we see that you're around, that'll be very nice. And this is also to admonish us and encourage us to, if possible, try to put our videos on. It helps with the engagement with the speaker and for us to kind of keep interacting with each other. Right. So if it is possible and you can do that, we would plead that you put your camera on so that we can all connect, see you, see me, see her, and then see all of us. I'll turn to Mohammed to introduce the speaker for today. Thank you.
Ms. Juliet Inyan is a resourceful researcher, project manager, and a content marketer with a proven ability to work with individuals and organizations to provide professional development and academic opportunities and services. She is currently a PhD student researching in the field of marketing at the University of Auckland Business School, New Zealand. She also holds a teaching position at the Department of Marketing, University of Calabar, Nigeria. Juliet has been an educator for over a decade and is co-founder of Academic Hive, a company specializing in teaching research and connecting academics and scholars to global opportunities. Through her brand, Momcademia, she helps student moms navigate academics, tech careers, and parenting. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our speaker for today, Ms. Juliet Inyan. You're welcome, Ms. Juliet.
Thank you very much.
How's the weather at New Zealand?
Yeah, good morning from New Zealand. Good morning from this planet. I like to call New Zealand another planet. Australia, New Zealand, yeah, it's 11 a.m. here on a Saturday morning already. We're almost approaching midday. Yeah, so just for benefit of doubt again, or just to correct an impression, I am Mrs. Juliet. Yeah, I'm married. I have two lovely kids, a 5-year-old and a 7-month-old. So, so yeah, that's a good way to also tell you that the 7-month-old might be joining this class anytime soon. Of course, you know how clingy they can be. Yeah. Okay, so I'm really happy to be here. I'm excited to be here, and I'm happy to see our Ghanaian brothers and sisters, right? I'm happy to see everyone, our Ghanaian brothers and sisters. I mean, it's a lovely time. It's exciting to have something like this with a sister country. Yeah, so I'm from Nigeria, and it's lovely to be on this platform, really. And trust me, you also have like number of Nigerians here too. Professor Awara, I see you. Yeah. So, okay. Just like I said, my co-instructor is here. She's awake already. I started talking. So yeah, she's a regular feature on my she's a regular feature in my teachings. I can't avoid it anyway. All right. So, but not to worry, no disturbances, everything's gonna go fine. Okay. Today I'm gonna share my screen right now so that we get into what we have for today. And yeah, thank you, Eric, for the opportunity to be here too. All right.
Thank you
I'll
too.
just share my screen. Okay. I'll share my entire, well, I'm gonna share my entire screen just in case we need to navigate to, it's a practical session. So from time to time, we may need to navigate to certain software, certain, websites and all that. So instead of stopping and sharing, I'll just share the entire screen so we can see how we navigate totally. Okay, so just come here, screen share, and then we start. Okay, and it might be necessary for me to turn off my video too at some point. Okay, so please just get that ready. All right, so tools for effective literature review and referencing. When I got this topic, I was like, ooh, okay, an opportunity to, share some new things I've also learned in the past 1-2 years so far. As rightly introduced, my name is Julia Johnny Yang. I'm a researcher and product manager and content marketer. It all depends on how at what point, whatever you're interacting with me on, I wear these 3 caps at different points in time. I'm a doctoral student at the University of Auckland. I'm a founder of a brand that's, supporting African women who are students, Momcademia. And I also run a profit-based research institute, Academic Hive for African scholars. Okay, so for today, what do we have ready? Today, we are going to be talking about how to use tech tools for 3 things. So the topic is on using tools for effective literature review and referencing. So when I saw the topic, went through it, prepared my slide, I said, okay, from this session, I need you to take 3 things back with you. 1, what tech tools or how can you use tech tools, AI, for literature search? How can you use it for referencing? And how can you use it for writing up your research? That is writing up, the literature review chapter. So that's something to look forward to. Before we go into talking about the tech tools, first of all, here is my definition of what literature review entails. Okay, I had to put this up here, this diagram, so that we understand, like we're on the same page, we understand what I mean by literature review, at least for the purpose of this webinar. So literature review is made up of 3 phases, in my opinion. So you just don't start reviewing literature, you just don't start writing literature or writing papers or writing a literature review chapter, okay? It's made up of 3 phases. You have to pass through 3 phases. One is the literature, One is the literature search. So what do we mean by literature search? A systematic, thorough search of a range of literature that is applicable to your topic. So you have a topic you want to work on, and then you have a topic you want to work on. I have to stop my video now. So you have a range of topics that you want to work on, right? And then you go into the databases to search for literature. So you have to do it in a systematic, thorough way, okay? So that's what I mean by literature search. I believe that we are graduate students here, at least to some extent. We are first year everyone here at least is a first-year graduate student, which means we've had BSc experience where we already have experience of what literature review is. So this is not going to be like some real basic literature class or research class. I'm writing on the opinion on the impression that we already have a BSc. So while you are doing your literature search, right, you see relevant articles that are relevant to you. What's the next thing you do? The next thing you do is to reference it, right? You reference your work. Okay, great. The next thing is to reference your work. Referencing happens at the same time as your search. While you're searching, you're referencing at once. What do we mean by referencing? Acknowledging the source of the information you've used in your work. And of course, we know why we do this, right? Can someone write in the chat, why do you think it's necessary to reference works that you have used in your work or other sources of information you've used in your work? Why do you think it's necessary to reference? I'd just like to see that in chat. Why is it necessary to reference? Okay, awesome. Awesome. I can see the comment in chat. Anti-plagiarism to prevent plagiarism. Beautiful. So everyone is all about plagiarism check to prevent plagiarism and all. Beautiful. Awesome. That's nice. Another thing again, apart from to avoid plagiarism, you know that referencing helps you to keep tab on your work. Like it helps you to you know, you're in graduate school. Let's say your program is like 3 years and you started your literature review in your first year. So if you didn't reference properly, apart from the fact that you are trying to avoid plagiarism, what if you had, picked a very important information, but you refused or you somehow forgot to reference it? What will happen when you're in your second year and then you need to get back to that information? What would happen, right? So that's where your literature referencing, comes handy. So it's not only just about plagiarism check. It's also helpful when you're trying to make reference or refer to sources of information you've used in the past. It helps you keep track and keep tab of information you've used. And while you are doing that again, you're referencing it. Remember that you're searching for information. You've seen what you like. You've seen a point that makes sense to you. What's the next thing? You copy that point, you try to paraphrase it, you try to use it in your work, right? In the process of doing that, you are writing up. You're writing up your work. So whether you're picking the point because you want to critique the point, whether you're picking the point because you want to support the point, whatever it is you want to do with that point, so long as you have seen something that is relevant to you, you copy it out, and then you want to use it in your work for whatever purpose, because literature review is not just about describing. Whether you're describing, whether you're critiquing, whether you're supporting, whether you're extending, whatever it is you're doing, it's all sums up as what? Writing up your literature review chapter. So in my opinion, literature review is a combination of these 3 steps, which are literature search, referencing, and writing up. I hope we understand this diagram, right? So let's move on. Now that we know that literature review involves these 3 phases or these 3 steps, which of course happen at the same time, and that's why you can see them in this Venn diagram. They all happen at the same time. One is not, in the real world, one does not necessarily come before the other. You do them at the same time. You do it at the same time. Go back and reflect on how you do your literature review. You see that you do it at the same time. One doesn't come before the other. So what are the tools that we can use for literature review and referencing? So for each of the Venns, I picked at least 3 tools that we can use to support or to help us do our literature review effectively and our referencing effectively. So there are at least 3 tools for each of them. We'll start with the literature search. There's a very popular one we all know, right? Google Scholar. And just a disclaimer here is that this is not all the tools that you need, okay? every day people keep coming up with new things. People keep coming up with, if our AI now is like the main, a lot of AI tools that are there to make your work easier for you. So compared to 10 years ago, compared to 5 years ago, literature review now or research now is on autopilot. You can do research on autopilot right now. Like, so long as you're familiar with these tools, you know how to use them effectively, then you're as good as, I mean, doing your work like with speed of light. Yeah, so it's even actually evoking a lot of conversations in the literature, in the research space. It's evoking a lot of conversation, because some people are, while it's helpful, some people tend to misuse it. We all know that, but that's not the focus of today's lecture. And I'm very sure somebody will be looking at this and saying, why am I not seeing ChatGPT? Is anybody thinking like that? Is anybody looking at my screen and saying, okay, I see some tools here, but hello, where's ChatGPT? Anybody thinking that way? Let me know in chat. Okay, Desmond is laughing. I see your laughing emoji. Okay. Samuel said ChatGPT is a tip. Okay, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a tip. I use it too, but I think in one of my posts, I said when you're using things like ChatGPT, you need to hold yourself accountable for how you use it. You need to hold yourself accountable. So some people use it very wrongly. They just go up there and say, okay, I am writing a topic on this, write up a literature review chapter for me. And then it just goes, trust ChatGPT, of course, it's going to write something for you. Definitely it will. It just goes, and then give you the rundown of very beautiful nonsense. Yeah. So why do I say beautiful nonsense? Yes, trust Joseph, you're right. Number one, wrong citations. ChatGPT would fake citations that do not exist at all. If you want us to give it a try, we can. We can try it out here, but I won't want us to go there. Let's use our time wisely. But you can try it. Just go to chat.openai here, and then just try. It's going to give you a rundown of stuff. It's either that thing, it's going to be very generic, right? It's going to be very generic. And then if you look at it really well, it's not the same thing. It's not the core. It's not very useful to you, especially if you are doing a PhD. Well, at the BSc level, it can be tolerated because we just want to see that you've gotten some research skills, right? But the PhD level, man, it's going to be, I don't know. You don't want to try that anyway. But yes, I use ChatGPT, but I use it for other purposes, right? Maybe to help me put something, maybe I've written a sentence and I don't feel very comfortable with that sentence the way I've written it. I can ask ChatGPT, can you help me, rephrase this in a professional way? So it's my idea, it's my thoughts, but just help me. It's like a research assistant. So please use it as a research assistant, not as a researcher. ChatGPT is not a researcher. It should be your assistant, not your researcher. All right. Yeah, so Samuel is beautiful, of course. Yeah, definitely. ChatGPT's write-up is usually beautiful. You'll be blown away. But if you really know what literature review entails, then you'll know that it's beautiful nonsense. Okay. So let's move on. Literature search. How do we search for literature? Of course, a very popular one. I had to use tools that are very accessible out there, that are very common, that are very popular. There are other tools, but there are some of them that it's only your institution that have access to them. So I had to use, examples that we can all relate with, or something you can easily access on the internet. Maybe it's just really pretty much going to just involve you signing up with your mail, that's all. But you can pretty much access each and every of these two, okay? Each of these have links in them. I've put some links in them to take us to that place. So Google Scholar. Google Scholar is the largest database of literature. It's the largest. Everything is in Google Scholar, right? So you mean Google practically owns the internet. So everything is in Google Scholar. You may not have access to the information, or you may not have access to that article, to that journal, to that whatever, but you will find it on Google Scholar. So how do we even access Google Scholar? So let's go here, open a new window. So this is Google Scholar, scholar.google.com. That's Google Scholar. So let's say I'm working on acculturation processes of African immigrants or of international students. Let's say acculturation processes of international students. International students, okay. Of course, Google is going to give me, can you see this result? 255,000, right? We're going to have 255,000 results. But who is going to sit down and read 255,000 works? Nobody, definitely. And that is where you now have to be very, this is where you now have to be very conscious about what your keywords are, what your main focus is, the scope, the time scope you want to focus on, right? So that's it. This takes us now to what I'll call Boolean operators. It takes us to what I'll call Boolean operators. So let's say my research, this is a workshop, right? So I'm trying to make this as practical as possible. Let's say my research is on acculturation processes of international students, right? Or of African international students. What are the keywords? Can someone, from what I've said, acculturation process of African international student, can you give me the keywords in chat? What are the keywords of my topic? What are the keywords from this topic? Please give me the keywords in chat. Or if you want to unmute yourself, that's fine. Eric, are people allowed to unmute?
I think if you're okay with it, then
okay, yeah. Okay. Exactly. So Millicent says acculturation, African international students, beautiful, beautiful. So that is it. Now, those keywords that you have given me, if you want to streamline this, your search, for this search to give you just what you need without fluff, because this Google Scholar, trust me, it contains almost everything, both the ones you need and the ones you don't need. Everything is inside. Everything is in this 255,000 results. But we know very well that nobody will sit down and look at 255,000 web pages. None of us have the time to do that, right? So what do? We pick the keywords. And when you're picking the keywords, you're going to make use of either three search terms or three operators in addition to your search term. So our search term here are the keywords, which is acculturation process, African international student, whatever it is, right? But we can see acculturation processes. It can be acculturation processes, African students, African international student, whichever, but just know that you have your keywords handy. Now, the three Boolean operators are and, or, not. I'm putting that in chat. And, or, not. Those are the three things, and or not. So how do we use that here? You use your keywords. So let's say I'm telling Google now. So look at what I'm doing. I'm telling. Okay. So I'm telling. Sorry, I'm alone at home. Okay, so I'm stuck with my partner. Yeah, in this class today. No, you don't have to talk. I'm the teacher here. Okay, so we're looking at this. If you look at my screen, you'll see me write acculturation processes. I'm picking that as one search term or one keyword, like not just acculturation, but the process. I'm focused on the process. So I put acculturation process in parentheses. I don't need off, right? So I say, give me documents that have acculturation process, and it also includes African, and it includes international students. Okay. And if I want to exclude, I wanted to exclude some, of course, international students can be Europeans, right? I cannot tell it not Europeans. And then I do my search. How many results do we have here now? Can you see 804, right? Can you see it has reduced? So that's how to do literature search. This, I can still remove this not Europeans. I can leave it at just the and I can say African students, or so let's say if I'm working on people in third world countries and then I need okay, African student. Another word for international students is what? Foreign students, right? That's another word for international student. So I can say or foreign students. So what I'm telling Google is give me any foreign students. Give me any work that covers international student or foreign student. It means one or the same thing. So can you see and or I've shown you how to do not. Not is when you want it to exclude something. So let's say foreign student. I've included foreign student. So this is supposed to increase. Can you see 1,100 results? So if you want your search to be holistic like that, you need to use keywords, specific keywords. So that's why if you come back to the definition of literature review I gave, I said it's a systematic process. So this is what they do. And if you're doing like a systematic literature review, you cannot avoid this skill of using Boolean operators. You cannot avoid it. They will ask you, what were your search terms? How did you use them? What were the results for each of the search terms that you used? That's how they start. That's the beginning. That's the fulcrum. That's the start of systematic literature review and even meta-analysis. That's the start. Okay. So when you have gotten this result, you can come, Google Scholar help you to streamline what you need. So let's say I want to work on something not more than 10 years old because I'm trying to use relevant literature. I come to custom range. And then I say from 10 years ago would be 2013, right? From 2013 to, I can leave this blank and I say search. Can you see it has further reduced my search to 690? So this process is when you are doing literature review at the PhD level, whether it is a systematic review you're doing or not, I strongly, strongly advise that you document this search. It's one of the things that gives your work quality. It gives your literature review, it gives your literature review chapter like quality. Your examiners look at your chapter and they're like, this person knows what they're doing. So whether you are doing systematic literature review or not, whatever it is you're doing, so long as I'm addressing PhD student now, so long as you are a PhD student, please document this search. Document this search. Tell us, so you can have, maybe if your chapter is going to start with the introduction, of course, you can start the introduction and then tell us, but this would come in the empirical section of your work, not when you're just talking about concepts. Maybe when you're discussing empirical studies, right? Like what other studies have done. You now explain your scoping review. So you just write there scoping review or scope strategy. Scope strategy. That could be the title. That could be the title of that subsection. It's still under your literature review, but the beginning part of empirical section can say scoping strategy, right? Or search strategy. How you came up with, how you first of all, started finding works that are relevant to your own. So you say, yeah, that you identify these keywords and then you combine them using these search terms and using these Boolean operators and or not in the following ways to give you the following results. And so number of papers emerge. And those are the papers that you are now including in your empirical review. So these are like little, they don't teach these things like this, the way I'm saying it in graduate school, but these are the little hacks that even make you get published fast. These are the little things that you do, and somebody, it makes you accountable. It makes you accountable to your literature review. Okay. All right. So this is just how to use Google Scholar, right? We have very limited time, so I'm not going to dwell on this, but this is how to use Google Scholar for literature search. So let's say I came here and then I saw this work, and I'm using a qualitative study, and I see African immigrants and international students, a qualitative study on the socio-cultural adjustment of students in the USA. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, I like this work. Then I pick this work. So I'm just going to open it in a new tab. And then I pick this work, right? So this is the work. But this is a dissertation, of course. So yes, you can reference dissertations, okay? But for the purpose of this, I prefer to use journal articles. So I'm looking for a journal article. Yeah, so this is a journal article. This is a journal article, yeah. I just want to use journal article for the purpose of this, oh, what am I doing? Oh, sorry. For the purpose of this, this work, okay, just say journal article. Okay, so yeah, so let's just say this is a very relevant literature I found. So for those of us in graduate school, something I would advise us to use, or something I advise you to do when you want to do your literature reviews, always have a seed article or a seed paper. Who can tell me what I mean by seed paper? Can someone tell me what I mean by seed paper? Anybody has heard that term before? What is seed paper? You can unmute yourself and say it if you feel comfortable doing that. If you want to use the chat, fine. But what do I mean by seed paper?
Hi.
Yeah, hi, Julius.
Hi, good evening, Juliet. I think a seed paper is more like your initial paper, the paper that seems like a template that captures essentially what you want to achieve.
Beautiful. You are right. You're very correct. That paper, you know, there's this, when you're doing your literary review, or when you're reading, there's this paper that will come to you and you'll be like, aha, this is it. You know that kind of paper, right? That has references to or citations to several other papers. Like for me, my paper, my seed paper is a work by Penaloza, the lady who is like in charge of the one who wrote like a seminal paper on consumer acculturation. So that's like my seed paper. So that paper that resonates with your work big time, there's always that paper. There is always that paper that resonates with your work big time. Okay, so that is your seed paper. Now, what do you do with your seed paper? That takes us to the next literature search. That takes us to the next literature search tool I want to talk about. Okay, so I'm going to come back now to our demonstration. So this is, I've just shown you how to use Google Scholar. The same thing I did is what you can do on different databases. Apart from Google Scholar, there are other databases, PubMed for those in health. What's this other one? Web of Science. There are several, there are other, even EBSCO hosts, there are other databases, even your university library, your specific institution university library, use this search strategy and it's going to still work out like that for you. Okay, I just use Google Scholar because that is what is accessible to everyone, but not everyone has access to other databases. All right, so now that you found your seed paper, what do? I now invite you to look for other papers, right? Because you're not going to be reviewing just one paper. That is when we use this tool that I will call, or that I want to introduce you to. Of course, I've done a YouTube video on this before. So those of you following me on YouTube, maybe you've seen this already, although I've not been active on YouTube this year, thanks to motherhood. It's called Connected Papers. So we are going to open Connected Papers now, and then I show you what the seed paper will do. Like the word goes, oh, sorry, I was going to open this in a new tab, in a new window. Yeah. So do you see Connected Papers? So this is Connected Papers. What connected? Oh, sorry, let me just do this. I need my seed paper. I'm just trying to get my seed paper back. Okay, great. Exactly. Thank you, Sedi. I've seen your chat. Yes, other databases like Social Science Database, JSTOR, ProQuest, Web of Science, EBSCO hosts. Definitely, these are all databases. Not all schools or not everyone have access to them because sometimes it's mostly institutions that are subscribed to these databases. But if your institution is not subscribed to this, please feel free to use Google Scholar. It's as good as good. Okay, feel free to use it. No, there's no harm in that. Use it very well. Use it with your full chest, like we say in Nigeria. Use it with your full chest. All right. So this is my seed paper for this demonstration. I've downloaded it. So let's say I am downloading my seed paper. I'll just call it acculturation. I'll just call it acculturation and then I save it. Okay. Let's say I call it acculturation. Yeah. So what will Connected Papers do for you? Look at what Connected Paper is going to do for you. Connected Paper, like the word goes, connects. It helps you get other papers that are related to that your seed paper. It's either those papers have cited paper that have cited your paper and that seed paper, or that seed paper have cited other papers that are related to that thing you want to search, okay? That's what connected papers would do. So how do I use connected papers? Before using connected papers, or before I learned how to use connected papers, this is what I used to do. I just come back to my Google Scholar, and then I go here. So remember that this is the paper I'm using as seed paper. I come cited by. So I say that only 4 people have cited it, right? So I can say cited by, and then it takes me to these 4 people. Now, do you know that you can also search for papers within a cited paper? So let's say if 20 people have cited this work, right? And then I want to search for African, the one that's specific to African. Instead of going back to search my Google Scholar by again, I'll just come here and say search within citing articles. And then it's going to help me reduce my citations, reduce my search even further. So let's say, look at the 4 papers here. But you can see that Google Scholar now has given us only 4 people that have cited this work, right? But look at the beauty of connected papers. Connected paper will take this to, sorry, darling, excuse me, please. Connected paper will take this to a greater level, like to a more professional level. I love connected papers. I love it. Like, oh my God, I'm never tired of talking about connected papers. It literally saves my life. Okay. So this is it. This is connected papers. I'm going to do this. I have to upload, I think connected papers you can update. Let me just log in so that I have access to it. Let me log in. Let me continue with Google. So I'm just gonna continue with my Google Scholar. Yeah, give me the API. Because I'm not logged in, that's why it's taking time like this. But normally, this shouldn't waste time. Yeah, don't worry. Let's just use another method for it. But when you log in, you can upload the paper. Okay. But even if we don't want to upload the paper, not to worry, look at what I'll do. I'll just get the URL of that paper or the DOI of the paper. Remember that this is the paper, right? This is the paper, right? Have you seen the URL? I can copy it, or I can copy the DOI. Where's the DOI? I come to where the paper is, and then I look at this. Can you see this DOI? I'll just copy this DOI. I say copy. I just copy. Come here. Sorry. Let's come back to my connected papers. And then I put it there, because you can see you can search by keywords, you can search by the paper title. I can even copy the title of the paper and put it there. But most times I prefer to use the DOI so that the connected papers know what I'm talking about. And then can you see, just by putting the DOI, it has brought up that particular paper for me. So I just click on it and watch what it's going to do. Can you see what it's doing? It's building my graph. It's going through all the databases and searching for all the papers that are related to it. Remember that we are in what? Literature search. Remember that we are doing literature search. So these are tools that help you search effectively. It saves you time. And then you're able to search effectively, okay? This is the paper. This one in red is the paper. Can you see that? That is the paper. Okay. I can see a question in chat. So just save your question after each of the sessions. Like after like literature review, I'll give time for you to ask question, and then we move on to the next part. Okay. So can you see this? This is my seed paper, right? When I searched articles that cited this paper in Google Scholar, how many did we see? Just 4, right? But can you see that it has brought up other articles? So let me explain what this does. The thicker the circle, the nodes, these are called nodes. So the thicker the nodes, it means the more relevant that paper to this your seed paper. So instead of coming here and be figuring out what to do with these nodes, oh, please don't even stress yourself there. Just come to the left-hand side of this paper. Look at it. It tells you origin paper. And then you can see, you just click on each of these. As you click on each of these, you can see the write-up here, like a summary of what the paper is about. So that way you can know what is relevant to you and what is not relevant to you. Okay? That way you can know what, you can save it. But you have to be logged in for you to save. You just save it. Then later on, when you come to your connected paper, you log in, you see save papers. You continue, you start your literature review from there. So like, look at this. I just click this. instead of going to open this paper, I just read the abstracts here. Okay, and I read and say, okay, is this relevant to me? Is this not relevant? I just come, I click here, I read it again. Is this relevant? Is this not? Whatever is relevant, I click save. Whatever is not relevant, I just remove it. Okay, I just click save, or wherever I click save for what is relevant. So that is what connected papers do for you. It helps your literature search really, really well. All right, so let's move on. Let's come back to here. Now, connected papers, you can see that it gives you papers that are related, and then it helps you to see like a summary of the paper in one go, right? The papers that are related are by the left, and then the summary of the papers are on the right. That's what connected papers would do for you. Now, Scholarcy takes it to another level. I don't know how many of us use Scholarcy, but Scholarcy is good. When I say it's good, like I'm introducing you to there are others, okay? There's Jenny, there are AI, there are other ones, but I'm giving you things that you need to make your life. Life is hard enough, please. Just simplify your life. Seriously, life is hard enough. As a researcher, simplify your life, work smart. Scholarcy, so you can see connected paper just give you like an abstract, like just a summary of what your paper is. Scholarcy takes it to a greater level. What do I mean by a greater level? Let's find out. Let's find out the other level that Scholarcy will take this to. Okay, I'll keep opening it in new tab. Let me open a new window. Open a new window. Okay. Now this is what Scholarcy will do for you. Remember that you still need to have your seed paper. Recall that I have my seed paper, right? And then let's say you have your paper for Scholarcy. It helps you to read. Scholarcy, what it does is it summarizes your article really well. So it does it better than connected papers to do. Connected papers' real job is to help you recognize other papers that are related to your paper. While Scholarcy helps you to read smart. It helps you. So you know how, I don't know if I'm the only one who feels really lazy about reading some articles. Man, there's some articles I read and I literally doze off because it's not, they use serious big jargons. I don't understand what they're saying. I'm lost. That's where I don't even just stress my life. I just go to Scholarcy and it helps my life. So I come to Scholarcy. What do I do? How do you use Scholarcy? Of course, you have to log in again, but let me just use a free version for now. Let me just say start free. You come to Scholarcy, consenting essential only. Do I have to sign in? Okay, I have to sign in. No, I'm signing. I already have an account to Scholarcy. Okay, it wants me to sign in. Yeah, but let's say try it now. I don't want to do all this whole signing in thing. So fine. Can you see? This is what Scholarcy looks like. Okay. Now you are going to you put the link. Remember, I have the link, the DOI. You can put the DOI here, and it will bring up the paper for you, like connected paper did, or you can upload the documents. You can upload the document. That's what Scholarcy will do for you. Irrespective whatever document you can upload it. So I can put the DOI and search, and it will bring that out. You can see what it's doing. I've put the DOI. It's going to be, this is it, it's going through like reading, crawling the paper. Let me use a coder's word. It's crawling the paper. So after crawling the paper, it will bring up a really nice summary of different sections of the paper. Remember that when you are reviewing your paper, you have this literature review spreadsheets. Remember that you had this literature review spreadsheets, right? Where you want to write the author of the paper, what the paper is about, the key concepts, the findings, the methodology that was used. You know what I mean, right? When you're doing your literature review. So this same paper, without me and you opening that paper in full to read, Scholarcy has helped us to read that paper. It just tells you straight up. You can even tweet it. Maybe you see a paper you like, you just put it there. So some of your influencers who are tweeting on papers and all that, this is what they do. The result of the present study revealed that a large number of sub-Saharan African students are well adapted to the Moroccan culture, but with inconsistent degree. That's the summary of that paper. But let's go on and see other interesting parts of the paper. So you come here, key concepts. It tells you. So these are the keywords that are in that paper. These are the keywords. You can use this keywords for any other thing you want to do. Maybe if you're doing, what's this thing that they do where they do word cloud with paper? Semantic. If you're doing is it semantic analysis or synthesis analysis? Yeah, it's not coming. You can use keywords like this for it. Okay, it helps you. Instead of you trying to figure out what the keywords are. Abstracts. You can read the abstract. And it's not just reading the abstract. Can you see? It's highlighting the main things you should look at. It's already highlighting them for you. So that you don't have to stress yourself reading too much. But well, someone like me who likes to be really detailed, I still take my time to read a paper that I find really interesting. Unless that paper is really difficult to read at first glance, I just put it in Scholarcy and it helps my life. So it gives you the abstract, it gives you the synopsis. So you're like, okay, so what's all of this really about? It gives you the synopsis of it. It gives you key highlights, like key things. You can see it gives you the central research question. It gives you the finding. It tells you there are 30. Can you see? I've not even opened the paper, but we know that there are 30 participants in the paper. And it has even done the referencing for you. So that's what Scholarcy does. It does its own summary as well, the introduction. Like imagine that they say, summarize this paper, right? It gives you the introduction of the paper, it gives you the objective summary, it gives you the method, it gives you the results. So with this, you can now just look at this and pick them, the key points to your gap analysis template or your literature review templates. That's what Scholarcy does for you. Okay. All right. So these are the three aspects of literature search that I wanted to bring to your notice. These are the three effective ways these days that help me. And like I said, I'm sharing this. I don't know, your process might be different, but this is the process that I use now. Unlike when it was like maybe 2-3 years ago when I did my master's, or 4-5 years ago when I did my master's, I had to literally look for papers individually, open them one by one, print them out, read them. No, there are tools these days to help you save time, so you can churn out more research papers unlike before. All right, any question on this session? I'm going to take like just 2 minutes so that we can move on to the next part. The next part is supposed to be, the next part we'll be talking about now. Oh, sorry. Let me close all of this. I don't have so many tabs open. Yeah, so the next part we'll be talking about is referencing. So any questions on literature search? Or do we just move on? Okay, let's move on. Maybe at the end we can ask all the questions. Eric, what do you think?
That's great. That's great. I'm enjoying it.
Great.
We can move on.
All right, awesome. So now let's go to referencing. But keep your questions, have your questions handy, okay, so that we can answer them at the end of it all. Referencing. For referencing, we know that we are all, okay, let's even see that. Please, in charts, write the referencing style that you use in your discipline. For me, it's APA 7th edition now. In charts, write the referencing style that you use, APA 7. According to your discipline, what's the acceptable referencing style? Fine, I've seen Chicago Gray, great to see other styles. ASA, of course. IEEE, good. ACS, yes. APA, fine. So you may be wondering, what's my own there, Abby? Is it not just APA 7th edition that I should learn? Is it not the APA 7th edition that I should learn? What's mine? Look, when you are doing literature as a researcher, when you are looking for literature, when you're writing to publish or whatever it is, whether it's for seminar or for publishing, let's say that, okay, let me give you an example now. There's a paper that I was to publish, right? I was supposed to send one of my research papers I had here. I was supposed to send that to Journal of Consumer Research, which is a marketing journal, which uses APA 7th edition. Now, when my supervisor saw that journal, she told me, oh no, this journal is not going to accept this paper, right? They will consider it below their standard. They have a very, 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 very high taste for papers. Why don't you send it to, I think this paper is very relevant for Journal of Public Policy. Now, that is not a marketing journal. I think that Journal of Public Policy, Millicent, that should be a journal in your discipline. And that's why you have ASA, American Psychological Association Referencing Style. So it means that the paper I had formatted for Journal of Consumer Research, which is JCR, I have to go and reformat it again for ASA, and in ASA style, for it to fit Journal of Public Policy. Let's say if the paper had an engineering function to it, and then they told me, oh no, this paper will fit an engineering field. Why don't you send it to this upcoming engineering field? I have to go and format the reference again to IEEE. It's very stressful to do this thing. It's, oh my God, you don't want to be in that position. Really, you don't want to be in that position. But well, thank God for online tools as well. You can easily format your paper. You can easily cite papers. You can easily convert things to whatever kind of citation or referencing style you need. That's the truth. And these are the things I want to talk about now, which is Mendeley, Zotero. Mendeley and Zotero, they do similar things. Mendeley is most likely going to be institutionally subscribed, but Zotero is free. So if you want to use Zotero, you just go to Zotero. Let me just show you. I have a nudge that I have just 18 minutes. Well, I was told I had 1 hour, and I think the association took almost 20 minutes of my time. So, well, that's okay. Zotero.org. So you go to Zotero.org, you do login. If you want to have it on your Windows, you download it. But you can just log in and use it online. So when you log it, yeah, I think I logged in. Log into Zotero. Okay, not on this computer. Yeah, I think I logged in my university computer. So, but when I wish I could just do this Zotero. Okay, let's see. Hashtag. Okay, great. Yeah, so I knew that I had access to it. Okay, great. So can you see some of my papers there? When you log into Zotero, you can drag the paper. Let's say this is our seed paper that we're working on. I can drag it here to Zotero. It has come in. I can drag it, I can upload it, I can use it as a link, but this is what it is. And then the beautiful part of Zotero is you can read on the go. So I'm opening that paper here in my Zotero reader. Fine. So as I'm reading this paper, if there's something that I've seen that is very similar, I just come. I have to make sure that I have the Zotero integrated in my MS Word, which I think I did. I'm sure I did that one. Yeah, look at this Zotero. Can you see? So let's say I was writing acculturation. Oh, no, I'm just showing very briefly how to use this thing because this is supposed to be practical. I don't want to just talk. So let's say I copied this and this was very relevant to me, right? And then I want to cite that. I've put that in my work. This is my paper, and oh, this is very interesting. Oh, let me cite that. I come to my add citation. Oh, it's not communicating. It's not communicating with my driver. Okay, I don't know why it's not communicating with my Word. But what it's supposed to do is, as I come to, can you see, you first of all have to install the driver to Zotero. You just go there, follow the prompt. It's very easy to do. When you come, you just say add or edit citation. Once you click on add citation, it's supposed to open, Zotero is supposed to open this my Zotero, like this page. It's supposed to open this for me, all right? Or open this. And then I will just tell it, I'll just click on it. Like I just click on the publication I want, and it would come out there on my Microsoft Word. That's how I just do. So I'm writing, I can just say add, and then I pick the publication I'm talking about. It's just going to automatically cite itself. And then I can pick whatever citation style I want it to give me. That's how Zotero works. I don't know why my... this is not my university computer, but I use it really well on my university computer. This is not my university computer. I don't know what that is, but I hope you understand the process anyway. So similar process. Let me see. It's not communicating with it too much. I don't know why it's that. Similar process or similar method works with Mendeley. It's the same thing, except that Mendeley is institutionally subscribed. Like you need to subscribe to Mendeley to use it really well. Yeah, but Zotero, you can use it. Zotero is free. It's open access, free for all. All right. So apart from Zotero, now that Zotero is giving me headache like this, what would I have done, right? That's why it's good to have options. Now I know what I have. So I just come back. Let's come back to this. Look at Scribbr. Scribbr, of course, yes, Mary, you can have it on your app and on your desktop. Yes, you can put Zotero on your desktop. So look at Scribbr. Scribbr is also another very good citation, this and that people don't use, but it's very, very good. And it's free, completely free, Scribbr. So I just come to Scribbr. Like now that Zotero is not working, what will I do with Scribbr? I just come look at this citation generation. Look at this. So instead of saving you sitting down to go and Google, how do I cite in APA 7th edition? How do I cite in this and that? Just come to Scribbr. That URL or that title. Let me use the URL instead. The DOI rather. Where's my DOI? That DOI, that URL. Wow, what's this? Okay. So let's take the DOI again. Right. So I just copy this DOI and then I come to Scribbr and I tell Scribbr, oh, please, I want to cite this thing. I want to cite this one, please just make it easy for me. And I just come cite. Can you see this? Please take a look at this. Who can tell what is just look at this very well and tell me, look at it here. What's the style? What's the style here? APA reference, APA 7th edition. Can you see that? I can change this to any style that I want. But please, for you to know that this is legit or that this is valid, look at this. For all of us who are very, very good with APA 7th edition, what is wrong with this citation? Can you tell me? Is anything wrong with it? Has this been excellently done? Even look at it too, if you want to put it, if you want to cite in text, and you want to use it as narrative citation. Look at this. Can you see how it works? Can you see how it works? So that is it. Zotero is, I said Zotero, sorry. So as you can see, when my Zotero does not work, I can use Scribbr. Scribbr works like mad. Scribbr is good, but people don't know. People don't use it. And it's free. Did you see I didn't have to sign up anywhere to use Scribbr? I didn't have to sign up. I just go there, Scribbr.com, and put my thing there and it comes out for me. Simple. And I take it to I just copy, I just click on copy and I take it to my Microsoft Word. That's all. All right, so that's it. I mean, you can also do Google Scholar. I think the last thing there is Google Scholar. For Google Scholar, what will I do? This is Google Scholar. Where is that work? This is the work, right, that we found on Google Scholar. So this is the work. I just come to site. Look at this site. And then I pick 7th edition. But look at the disadvantage of Google Scholar. Yes, it's giving me in APA 7th edition, but something is missing. This is APA, but it's not 7th edition. 7th edition should have the... Oh, okay, no, that's not it. Where's that work? Should be this one, right? Where's that work? Where's that work? Yeah, it's this one. It's this work. So look at this. You can see it has not included the DOI. So which means my 7th edition is going to be faulty if I want to just use Google Scholar, but I can use Google Scholar. I'll just come here and just Control-C, copy, take it to my Word document and paste. That's all. Okay. Or I can pick MLA, copy, take it there. But I would highly recommend Scribbr over Google Scholar for citation. Okay, so that's it for citation. Eric, please, do I have like 5 more minutes to talk about the other one? I can't hear you. Anybody there?
Yes, you do.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Okay. All right, great. So that's it for, I'm just going to close this now. I'll just close this now so that I don't have too many tabs open. Fine. Now, when you have done your referencing, you know, like I told you, it goes hand in hand. Most of these things, you don't just say, oh, let me find, and then later. Sometimes you do it at once. It saves you time. I don't know about you, but I do it at once. Like if I see a paper that's relevant to me from my search, I reference at once. I just put it at once in my reference manager, which is Zotero or Mendeley, anyone I'm using. Or if I'm writing a paper at once and I say, oh, this is relevant, and I'm writing and I've cited something from it, I just use Scribbr and I pick it immediately. Now, writing up. How do you write up? So you have your literature, you have your literature, you've done the referencing. How do you write up? Sometimes who have had this experience where you are blank. You know what you want to do, or you know what you want to write, but you don't know where to start. Who have that? Oh my God, I don't know where to start. I'm blank. Who has that moment? Who is in that moment? Okay, Desmond. Then one hand is up, Millicent's hand is up. Okay, so a number of us are in that moment already where, yeah, it's all in your head. It's all in your head. Yeah, it's in my head, but how do I start? Yeah, we all have that moment, right? So what do you do? What you do, you come to, that's where I use phrase bank. There's something they call mommy brain. There's something they call mommy brain. I don't know if anybody has heard about mommy brain. It's like forgetfulness, or like, this thing, your brain is not just working when you need it to work because you're breastfeeding and all that. So yeah, the same, I came here and I heard the name is called mommy brain. So Manchester Phrase Bank, Academic Phrase Bank by Manchester University saves my life when it comes to that. Okay, so how do we use it? Very interestingly, let me show you. So I come to Phrase Bank. This is Manchester, it's owned by Manchester University of Manchester, but it's called Academic Phrase Bank. So can you see, they are different. Now, when you are writing your literature, when you're writing your work, there are different things you want to write, right? Maybe you want to just introduce the work. Acculturation is an important concept in boy, like, is it important concept? How do I even start writing this thing? I just come to introducing work. So I want to start with the work. I just come here introducing work. And then it tells me, okay, for you to introduce work, of course, it gives you some things, and then it starts giving you an idea. So let's say I want to introduce the work by first of all referring to something that's already known in the past, right? Or I want to identify a controversy as an aspect of introducing my work. I just click on maybe referring to previous work. Can you see? It gives me leading sentences to start with, like a number of them. So even when I use this a lot too, even when I've put my work in a plagiarism checker, and then it comes up with, and by the way, Scribbr does plagiarism check for you free of charge, please. If you're having issues with Turnitin, please go use Scribbr. It does plagiarism check. That's just to mention on the side. So let's say I want to start my work, right? Maybe, or even my plagiarism software has flagged one of my statements. I just come here and look for a leading statement to use. These statements will not be flagged. These statements, all the statements that you can see in this Manchester University Academic Phrase Bank, they are not flagged by plagiarism. They tell you that already. They will tell you it's not flagged. So, but it gives you, it's just going to help you. The point is, it helps you write. So you can see this. I can say, oh, okay, let me look at this. Recent evidence suggests that acculturation is not new. Okay. Previous research has established that data from... So like it gives you ideas on what to use. If you're like, okay, no, I want to use another style. Let me write it like I'm trying to use the knowledge gap. You come here. It is still not known whether acculturation more or less is not, like that's just it. So please, 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 when you feel stuck in your thoughts, stuck in your ideas, like when you're in that, how do I start? I know what to write, but I just don't know how to start. How do I start? How do I start? Please just go to Academic Phrase Bank. And it's not just for literature review alone. It works whether you're discussing your findings, whether you're writing your conclusion, whether you're reporting a result. Academic Phrase Bank helps. Remember, you know that there's this thing too that comes when you're for those of us who used to use statistics as well. It's now I'm going into qualitative, by the way, for now. But when I used to use statistical method, there's this generic statement that we make. This shows that it is significant, it's not significant, and sometimes Turnitin would flag it like plagiarism over and over again. You just come to reporting result and look for reporting positive and negative reaction. Look at the rundown of how you can report them. So instead of using there is a significant, you can look here and get another way of saying that same thing. Okay, so don't stress yourself. Okay, so Phrase Bank is one awesome tool. Please have Phrase Bank on your side. You can use it for if you want to critique a work, you want to define terms, you want to describe. See, Phrase Bank is awesome. Phrase Bank is wonderful. Seriously. Okay, so let's move on to, I think the last, I would say. That should be the last. Okay, so of course we know Grammarly. Grammarly helps you with correcting your words. Okay, we should all know Grammarly by now. I'm not going to focus on Grammarly. Yeah, so Grammarly just corrects for you. It also does plagiarism for you. But like I said, if you don't have access to Grammarly Premium for plagiarism check, please use Scribbr. Scribbr will help you. Scribbr will come through for you. Okay. QuillBot helps you paraphrase. So QuillBot is just, to me, QuillBot is a substitute of Phrase Bank because I like to write in my own words. So if I can't find, or maybe I feel stuck and pressed for time and I know what to write, once I use Phrase Bank to write up what I want to write, and then maybe it's flagged by a Turnitin software, a plagiarism software, I just take it to QuillBot. How does QuillBot work? Very simple. I believe that everyone should know what QuillBot also does too. So let's say that I got this. Let's say I got this. Let's say this is what was flagged. I'm just using an example. Let's say this is what was flagged in my work, and I want to paraphrase it. I just come to QuillBot. Sorry, I've opened a lot, so it's just going on and on. I come to, what's the problem? I come to QuillBot and then I put it here and yeah, just paraphrase, and it's going to give me a new paraphrase here in this other box. So same thing, but it's set in a different way. Okay, you can adjust it if you want it more accurate to take it backward a bit. If you want it to use new changes to take it forward a bit, you know, just like that. That's how it is. But you can change. Look at the more you adjust it, the more it keeps going, the more it's, you know, gives you something different. The standard approach to this session, they say the session of this approach. So same thing, but you can use it. So when you feel like, I have 30% plagiarism, please just go use QuillBot. But ensure that you have cited really well. Ensure that first of all, you're not really plagiarizing. You've actually cited who should be cited. But when you want to reduce the verbatim, just go to QuillBot, okay, and use it. And then the final one I want to talk about is draw.io. Draw.io. I don't know how many people use draw.io, but you know, when you're writing up the conceptual framework for your study, I need to draw all of those concepts and all of that. A lot of people would use Microsoft Word, right, to draw. So somebody will come to Microsoft Word and try to do something like, maybe I want to draw and I come here and then I say home and then I come to maybe insert and I say shape, line, you know, I pick my line, I draw my arrow, I say arrow here, and then I put a text box, you know, all those kind of things now. And then I put a text box maybe here like this, and then I say this is similar to this, and I'm doing all of this drawing. What if I want to draw circle? So draw.io saves you, like you can literally draw anything on draw.io, okay? You can draw anything on draw.io. So you just come to draw.io, like look at this. So I was working with a client some few days ago, and then she needed to extend the technology acceptance model, but she's looking at it from a feminist perspective. So they wanted her to use like some key concept in the feminist perspective to use that to supplement, as a supplement to TAM, why people in certain countries, in a cultural context, you know, would use certain culture as a way of, I mean, based on their culture, would adopt certain technology and all that. So this was all I just came to draw.io and then we picked it. I said, okay, so for this, just come here, put this box. So let's just show you something similar I can do. So I can just come here, draw.io. If it's a circle, I just put my circle here. If it's an arrow, I pick my arrow, I put it here. I can change it if I want. I can just, you know, draw this straight up. And then I can drag this. Maybe I can say this leads to this. If I want that to do, you know, it's you can just do whatever it is you want to do, but pretty much, even if you want to write, you know, when you want to write something like in between a line, you can now come here and label this. So draw.io helps you. You just label where you want to label inside this text, then you drag it and put it where you want to put. Just do whatever I need to do. When you're done, you come here and just download it, or you just download it here as picture, and then you take it to Microsoft Word. But draw.io helps you, like whatever it is, even if you want to put it like it's a human, you want to put an actor in it, Microsoft Word will not do this for you. If it's, you know, something you want to do like this, like different, you want to turn this in different ways, Microsoft will not do this for you, but draw.io will do it for you. So use draw.io for your diagram. When you're drawing, you need to do something to draw diagram. Please use draw.io. You can use different things. If it's a flow chart, you can use flow charts. Look at different flow charts you can use. If it's arrows you're looking for, look at them, all different kind of arrows. If they're very basic shapes, they're all there. Even smiley, you can put a smiley even on your diagram. You know, someone like qualitative researchers like us too, we do a lot of this crazy stuff. So use draw.io, okay? And that's it. And you would have, my point is, all of these are out there to make your work easy as a researcher. So make use of them. That's what I would recommend. So in summary, what are we saying? So many tabs open. Okay, great. So Literature review is interesting. Okay, you just have to make most of it. You have to make the most of it with these tools. These tools are out to help you. Okay, so make use of them and make use of them well. So I have some free resources on my website, academichype.com. You can find how to write a literature review, how to read a research paper, 8 steps, how to overcome academic writing challenges, and a great guide for writing a research abstract. So feel free to read these things up. Yeah, and I mean, you would find them helpful, but there are several other sources out there. So question time, do you have any questions? And please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, which is now X, ResearchGate, and Instagram. Yeah, I hope you've learned something new. Any questions? So let's start taking the question. Okay, Eric, do you want to moderate the question session so that you know when to stop? Hello, Eric, are you there?
I can moderate that. So Mary has her hand raised. Mary, can you speak?
Okay, thank you very much for the lecture. So I actually have 2 questions.
Okay.
So the first one is, for instance, when you are looking for like, you're trying to find a seed paper, but like you've used all the Boolean operators, and now you have like 800 papers or 1,000 papers from your Google search. It's quite difficult to kind of go through everything or read everything, like the abstract probably, to find like the seed paper. Do you actually have a way of actually getting like a seed paper quickly? Like, yeah, so that's
So
my
the way
first.
I would get, let me answer that. The way I would get a seed paper quickly, it comes down to your Boolean search. If you're using your Boolean search, you're using your Boolean search because you're trying to minimize the number of papers that come up. So why are you using a Boolean search and you're having 1,000 results? If you have 1,000 results, I showed what to do. You go there, you can streamline it now by maybe the year, the publishing period, or you can add another keyword that further streamlines it to what you are actually working on. Say, for example, I'm working on acculturation processes of African international students. So if I put that up and then I have 800 papers and I this is still too much, I introduce the word, maybe I focus on Nigerian and I put a Nigerian. It will further draw it down, you get? I can still streamline, I can still reduce based on maybe the year. I can say, okay, the last 5 years, not the last 10 years any longer. It further reduces it down the more. Why are we reducing it? You're reducing this so that you can make your search manageable and you can work with what you can read. That's that's the essence of Boolean operator in the first place. And there's no how you will not have your seed paper, because we are further reducing it to fit your own work. That's why you keep using keywords that are specific to your study. You're not using broad keywords. The search becomes broader when you're using broad keywords, okay?
Okay.
All right. Second question?
Yeah, the second question is with checking like plagiarism with Scribbr. So for instance, like you have an assignment, a literature review on a certain topic or project. You've done that, but you just want to be sure that, okay, I'm not over like my threshold. And so like you upload it to Scribbr to check it for you. Would it be saved in a cloud database? Because like if you now submit that paper to your school, to your professor, they are also going to use Turnitin. So if it's going to be saved in a cloud, then it's definitely going to flag like 100%. Like your work is
So
plagiarized.
Scribbr knows that, and no, it's not going to save.
Oh, okay, sure.
It's not going to save. But if you ask me, I always recommend the use of Turnitin. Anytime I recommend Turnitin, anytime, any day, okay? Regardless, I always recommend Turnitin anytime. but Scribbr would not save it. It doesn't save to cloud.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Okay.
So there's a question in the chat. It says by Beckham Arthur. It says, what if you find a seed paper what if you find a seed paper and it's not necessarily in the top journal?
So long as it's relevant to your work, you use it. That's what I'm saying, right? But please always use paper. It might not be in a top journal, but use paper that is not predatory. It might not be in a top journal. Okay, just understand what I'm saying. That paper might not be in a top journal, but ensure that the paper is not predatory. It's not one of these papers that somebody just rush and write somewhere and just upload it. Please, okay? It doesn't have to be in a top journal. It doesn't have to be. So long as it's relevant to your work, use it, but just ensure it's not predatory. That's all. Any other question?
There's another one. It said, how do you get a seed paper after searching with keywords and having like 800 papers?
I think, yeah, that's the question we just answered. Yeah.
Is there any other question? I think.
Okay. All right. So thank you very much. Thank you, Eric, for having me here. Thank you, Grasag, for the opportunity to teach. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. It was wonderful. I learned a lot.
Thanks.
Thank you, Juliet, for coming over. I think we'll be having a picture. Desmond, are you ready to take a picture of us with the guest speaker?
Yeah, so yeah, I think I'll take a picture so you can on your videos. And as you're on a video, I want to remind everyone here about particularly the GASAC USA monthly giving day. So we just an organization is in a season of raising funds to support our activity. So we have designated the last Friday of every month to raise funds, and we began that last year with a launch of the Endowment Fund and Giving Day. So if you're on our pages or our YouTube pages, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere, we have this GoFundMe link in there. Try to reach out and try and put maybe some dollars in there, $5, $10, $50, $100, so that we can help support the activities of GASAC USA. So we gotta do kindly on your videos, and I'll take a quick picture wherever you are. Okay, so I think I'm almost about to take a picture. Let's on our videos. On and on and on and on and on and on and on and. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Say cheese. Cheese. All right, thank you, everyone. So I think Eric, and I'll be back to you. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Mami, for holding the stepping in for me. So I had a meeting with my advisor and I couldn't push it any further. So I had to lower my volume and let you keep going. Thank you, Miss Juliet. I know Saturdays are busy days for you. You had to push a couple of things around. Oh, my camera is off. To get to be here. I'd like to extend, I know this one has probably done that, but would like to really thank you for this. And I think actually I was talking to the president behind the scenes, but I'll probably talk to you again to see if we can have a second session and probably get into detail. I realized, even though I wasn't here, I realized at some point you were moving very fast, but then hopefully if you have the time, and I really enjoyed the session from start to the point where I left off, but it will be fun to have you again to go much deeper into the writing part and using all those AI tools to go. Again, I don't know what was said because I was on mute, but then thanks to everyone for being here. Our next event will probably be LinkedIn optimization and networking. And that should happen in the next 2 weeks. Whilst at that, we are still working on having our virtual socialization event come the ending of November. And so the vice president already sent out a WhatsApp message asking for DJs and people who can do any social events and all that. We'll be looking forward to hearing from you. If there's nothing to say, we've already taken the picture. We thank all of you and see you next time. So Vice P would play the Ghana anthem whilst people can leave. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. You can stop your recording so that you don't have so much file to upload.